Live
stuff.
now with the Jolly Good Ginger. And look, whoa, Jolly, you're pissed off, man. What? And
I mean,
every time you and I do something crazy happens. But
literally, like 5 minutes before last week is when the big breakup happened. 10 minutes, Don, 10 minutes before this live, Donald Trump was talking to reporters and told them, anybody, I'm shaking saying this shit, I can't believe this is real life in America. Anybody who protests his military parade on Saturday will be met with very heavy force. Let me interpret this for anybody who may fucking think this is not a big deal. Tyranny is defined by government oppression of our human and civil rights. This is a civil, constitutionally protected right to assemble, to protest, to speak our voices, to speak our mind. We are allowed to protest as long as we do it within the confines of the law. And when the government is telling you that that protest will be met with governmental force, ladies and gentlemen, we have entered a new era of America. This is unacceptable. This is disgusting. This is tyranny.
It's tyranny by an autocrat who said he wanted to be a dictator on day one. But you are right. One thing I may disagree with you is that this is not America. This is America. This is not what America is supposed to be. We're not supposed to be doing this shit. We're not supposed to be trampling people with horses and people who are peacefully assembling. That situation, Ginger, as you said, I saw one of your things where you went off. That situation, and I feel the same way. It was fine. The Los Angeles Police Department is very capable of handling protests. If any city knows protests, police officers, it's the LAPD and the NYPD, especially the LAPD. When you look at what happened, Watch riots, Rodney King, all of those things, they're capable of doing it. All of this, what Pam Bondi says, looks like a third world country, is their own fault. That's why it looks
100%. 100%. Don, when he came in, he manufactured an economic crisis that didn't exist. And then he manufactured an immigration invasion crisis that didn't exist. And now he's manufacturing an insurrection. This is reality TV 101. And the director and producer is Donald Trump. The writer is Stephen Miller. And the fucking casting director is Stephen Bannon. This entire thing is a coup from the inside that's been... And by the way, I'm going to say what a lot of motherfuckers on the left are afraid to say, and I'm not afraid to say it. This election was a fucking sham. The reports are starting to come to light that the numbers don't add up, that voting machines were tampered with. This presidency was stolen vis-a-vis Elon Musk, and now we have an internal coup. This is officially tyranny. I agree with you, Don. This is not America. This is not what we're supposed to be. This is a fucking... You're right. We are a third world country, thanks to Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But Ginger, I think I call you Jolly or Ginger. I don't know if it matters.
Jolly is good.
Jolly's good. Jolly, look, same thing to you. I say this is a show, and we're going to get back to this whole thing about meeting protesters, because I think that's really important, considering the protest and his big, dumb, stupid parade that's going to happen this weekend. But Jolly, we are so much alike in our thinking, because this is a show from start to finish, right? In the morning. Yes. Remember when they started doing those early morning White House briefings? They want to be able to shape the news narrative starting from the start of the day. Right? So you get your information on Fox and Friends, and then you go, and then Caroline Levitt gives you an early morning briefing. I don't even know if they're still doing those. And then that shapes, they want to make sure that you shape the news cycle after the morning shows, right? And then they do the afternoon press briefing, which is just a farce where we're going to fight with some reporters, and I'm going to pretend that we're doing this. Okay, Jolly, okay, good. You're stupid. Okay, Greg, go. And they don't get a real follow-up. And then after that, Donald Trump does his little show, which is in the Oval Office. He invites people in to do the photo op. It's like, okay, Zelensky's going to be here today. And then, Macron is going to be here one day. Or I'm going to talk to you about, my big, beautiful bill one day, or the tariffs. And then he does, and he says we're doing safe fight with the reporters. And then they go spun in the news cycle. And then in the evening, Caroline Levitt goes on Fox News or whatever, and they do. It is a whole show. It is produced, as you said, meticulously from start to finish, and people fall for it. They think it's real. Donald Trump isn't working. When he
No.
said doing, what is he doing? He's sitting
Signing
there
executive orders that half of them are complete farcical in nature. The other half are unenforceable. This is nothing more than a takeover of our government. If anybody thinks this is anything other than a takeover of our government, you have missed the plot. This is, dude, I mean, I can't get over what's happening right now. They just deployed Marines to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Under a made-up insurrection. They just deployed National Guard to Los Angeles, gave them no funding, no fuel, no food, just put them on the floor because it, like you just said, it's all for show. It's all to create the scene and action. So let's put some troops there and say, oh, look, we're under siege, when really it's manufactured by the motherfucker in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
And by the way, Stephen Miller is directing this shit. He's scripting it all. And Donald Trump is the lead actor in his own fucking show.
Charlie,
I'm hot right now, Don. I'm
no,
fucking hot.
you have every right to be hot. But I'm nervous for us. Because what president would say, if you exercise your rights under the Constitution, that you are going to be met with force?
And
What
Don,
president says that? That's not a real president. That's a fucking dictator.
Don, I want you to close your eyes and imagine Barack Obama saying those words.
Oh my gosh, the right would have gone crazy.
The fucking world would burn.
Well, and there was people saying Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. Donald Trump wants to be an autocrat. No, it's not that he wants to. He is now. He is an authoritarian figure. He is all of those things that they said, oh, well, you have Trump derangement syndrome. So if you're thinking Donald Trump wants to be a dictator, he's not. He's the leader. He's the president of the United States. No. Why does he want a fucking military parade? And guess what? Oh, here's the thing. Talk about the show. Okay, Jolly, let's talk about the show. This is a pre-show to the show that is going to be his parade on this weekend on the 14th. He wants to stand there and he wants to send his people out and say, look at what Donald Trump did in California and Los Angeles. He handled it. There's no other leader like him, and he's going to be standing there doing this as the tanks are rolling by, and he's looking.
Yep, and doing he'll probably salute and shit.
Yeah, yeah. All you're going to need people is doing this. Look.
Correct.
Like we are freaking in North Korea or something. North
fucking Korea is all I think about. As soon as I imagine Saturday, I see him up on a podium, surrounded by his fucking sycophants, J.D. Vance, fucking Stephen Miller, KK, Caroline Levitt, and everyone else. The tanks are rolling by, the howitzers are rolling by, the troops are marching and saluting. We've seen these scenes before, only they were in dictatorships. And then, by the way, you know what also this parade Saturday will have in common with North Korean parades and Russian parades and all the other dictator parades? There's one thing that's going to have in common as of today. You are not allowed to protest it.
You aren't allowed to protest it.
Think about this. The common point that our military parade this Saturday now shares with every other military parade and every other dictatorship is you can't protest it. Woo! We have fallen. Oh, how the fucking mighty has fallen.
So then what do we do? I mean, what do we do? I know, look, I'm not calling for violence. You're not calling for violence.
No, listen, I've made it clear on my page for the last month, violence won't solve this. We lose. Violence loses. We lose if we have a violent response to this. We lose.
What do we do, Jolly? What do we do? Because
3 point, it takes
I'm hearing people are saying, don't go out there. They're trying to bait you into going out there. They want to hurt you. They want to
make an example.
People beating you up. They want to make an example of you. So then what do we do? Are they right?
We have to shut the system down. They need the system to operate. I don't know if you know this, Don, and whoever's watching this might not know this. Every, revolution that's ever happened that successfully sparked significant political change in any country in history it has been studied, and what they found out was if 3.5% of a population, if only 3.5% of a population conduct a unified, non-violent strike against the system, then significant political change follows. That means 3.5% of adult Americans, which is approximately 10 million people, that's all. If 10 million people at the same time say, we're not going to go to work, we're not going to fucking participate in the system, we're going to take it to the streets, we are going to stop operating within the system. If only 10 million people do that, we shut the system down non-violently. Because violently, we lose. Let me explain to anybody who's got violence on their mind. You lose 1,000%. They own the government. They own the military. You don't go anywhere. They make an example out of you. They use you as an excuse for martial law. They implement martial law. The freedoms and the little bit of freedoms we have left are immediately suspended. Violence loses. We need messengers, not martyrs. 5% approach today.
But Jolly, even if you go out, let's just say folks go out and they have every intention to protest peacefully, I feel that the Trump administration and the people he sends out, I believe that they're going to goad people into doing something so that they can show their strength by arresting them or detaining them or cracking some heads. And that's why I worry about people going out, but you can't just sit around and do nothing. That's why I don't know. I mean, do you go out and do you take the chance that you're going to get your head cracked in or you're going to be detained? Look, you got to be willing to sacrifice something. They did it for the civil rights movement, but I can't tell people what to do, Jolly.
Neither can I, and everyone has to make their own decision. In the Army, we had a saying, bad decisions now is better than a good decision later on the battlefield. When you're making tactical decisions, it's better to make any decision than not one at all. And I stand by the fact that we don't need martyrs. I don't think that a guy in the middle of the street as the tanks roll down it and we have our modern Tiananmen Square moment, I don't know that that does much right now because, as you just said, it's one big scripted show where they form this false narrative anyway. But what has to happen is they have to lose their power, and their power is the system. We have to grind the system to a halt. So we need 10 million motherfuckers on board to do the same thing. Blueprint. Take to the streets. They did it peacefully. I don't give a shit what the Trump administration tries to say. I don't care what narrative they're trying to spin. LA protested peacefully, en masse. Communities came to the neighborhood and they shut the system down. We need that across the country, non-violently, peacefully, but with the resolve that we won't go back.
Okay, yes, I agree. So 100%. So LA did that, but look what happened, right? Look what the Trump administration did. Hear me. Jane Burns, hear me, says, yes, there are many posts all over social media about what to do if it turns violent. The thing is that it won't be the people who are out there that will be turning it violent. Yes, you have some knuckleheads, right? Every single protest you have a knucklehead that's going to do something stupid. But that's not the majority of the protesters. I'm not concerned about the protesters going violent. I'm concerned about the state going violent. And so,
Yes.
This person saying Black people need to withhold our dollar. Okay, that's one thing. But also, I think that if you have, I think a show of force in people who are organized, I think that that does make a difference. I'm just concerned about the violence. I don't know. I've said it 14 different ways, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm concerned about people getting trampled on, like that man with the horse and the mounted unit in Los Angeles, or people getting, the gas thrown at them through grenades. I'm worried about those folks. Do you go out and do you make that sacrifice? Do you take those chances? And if you do, is there the infrastructure around that's going to come bail you out? Is going to make sure you get to the hospital. It's going to take care of your bills or bail you out. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. They have an entire government. I mean, they have the government, they have the military, they have all the money, they have all the weapons, they have all the people. That's Goliath and who's that David, And I just don't think, Don, if I thought that going to the streets and fucking, putting your foot down and getting trampled by horses would solve the problem, I'd be the first one in the street getting trampled by horses. But it's not going to solve the problem. I truly believe what you just said when you talk about infrastructure, when you talk about organized resistance, that's the requirement.
Stand by for a word from our sponsors. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Beam. Summer's almost here. And let's be honest, that doesn't mean that we can slow down and take a break. The news cycle is relentless. Every day we get served up a new outrage designed to overwhelm us, take us out of the fight. This is the right trying to scare us. They want us to get burnout. They want us to tune out to what's happening, and they want us to roll over. But we can counteract that by waking up every single day ready, refreshed, and energized. That's why I turn to Beam's Dream Powder. It is a natural sleep blend. It is designed to help you get the deep restorative rest your body and mind need to stay in the fight. Because here's the truth. You cannot sustain the fight without rest. Burnout serves the people in power who love nothing more than to see you exhausted and to see you checked out. With science-backed ingredients like reishi, magnesium L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin, Dream helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up ready to organize, resist, and raise hell without the fog or the crash. Since I've started using Dream, my focus has come back. My energy is returned. I am ready to face the day, ready to stand up for the things that really matter. And I'm not the only one. Beam's Dream Powder has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep for people all across the country. Oh, and did I mention it tastes incredible? It's smooth, it's delicious, and it's easy to add to your nightly routine. Simple, effective, and it works. So right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off their best-selling Dream Powder for my listeners. It is a limited time offer and the perfect way to overcome that exhaustion and stay in the fight every day. So go to shopbeam.com and use the code word lemon at checkout. That is shop, BEAM.com/lemon, and use the code lemon for up to 40% off. Sleep well, wake up ready. The fight continues.
When Dr. King marched on Washington with 1 million people, the common misconception here, the common misunderstanding is that 1 million people in Washington is what made the difference. Let me explain to those who don't know why 1 million people made the difference.
Yeah.
Because Dr. King organized a 1 million man march well before social media. So that means he had to go around the country, city to city, town hall to town hall, church to church, and rally the people, talk to the communities, listen to the community, understand their needs, find the community organizers who are willing to organize each community. And he had to do, this took months and months and months and months of planning. This took multiple smaller resistances to lead up to the bigger one, so that when the day came, August 28th, when they stood in Washington, D.C. with 1 million people, all the work that culminated to that 1 million people is what made the difference. There was communities across America that were standing up with them and standing behind them, and those 1 million people were merely their representatives. If we go on social media and say, meet me in D.C. and 1 million people show up, that's just pissing in the wind. The work, the organization, and the resistance that went into that 1 million people is not there. We need that.
Yeah, that's my point. And look, I agree with you guys in the chat, because people are saying, what if John Lewis had stayed home? We have to get into good trouble. What if Dr. King had stayed home? I understand everything and I agree, but we just can't sit at home and do nothing, says Jay Reyes. I understand that. But what look, you guys decided you want to take that chance. I know that I would, and I know that I'm going to be out there reporting on these protests, right? If there's a protest in New York, I'm going to be out there, out there in the middle of the crowd reporting on it. And right, look at what happened to the reporters. They detained a CNN reporter last night. You reported on that. They shot the Australian reporter with a fucking rubber bullet. That guy looked right at that woman and shot dead at her.
Dead at, it wasn't like, oh shit, no. He pointed, he aimed, he fired. Very, very clearly. And this is an attack on the press. You talked about the CNN reporter that got arrested last night. I reported on the middle of the night what happened. I couldn't sleep last night, Don. I was up last night paying attention to all the live streams, all the posts, all the news reporting coming out of LA, because I was flabbergasted at what's happening in my country. I was flabbergasted at the misuse of my fellow siblings in arms, the military, the Army, the Marines. I was flabbergasted what's happening. But I want to tell you, to hear the sitting president of the United States threaten open oppression to the First Amendment, guys, I mean, I will say this: everybody do something. No matter what that something is, whether it's organize in your community, whether it's show up to the protest, whether it's report on what's happening, whether it's post social media posts about what's happening to your neighbors, to your friends, to your colleagues, whether it's to resist ICE in your workplace, whether it's to stand up and be the voice in your community, whether it's to show up on Saturday, no matter what that something is, now's the time that everybody has to do something. There's no way out of it.
You know what? Do you think it's weird for me to change my mind during our live?
No.
I think we got to get out there, Charlie. I think we got to get out there, and I think we have to risk. I think you have to risk something. I think we got to do it. And I think that if it's, they can't jail all of us. They can't
Nope.
beat up enough of all of us if you get out there and you say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I think you got to get out there and do it. I think you have to go. You have to be peaceful. You have to, I think you have to do it in the same vein as the civil rights protests of the 60s. I think that you got to do it. I think you got to be willing to sit at a lunch counter. I think you got to be willing to have dogs trained on you. I think you have to be willing to have hoses trained on you. I think you have to be willing to go to jail, because if you, and once the world wakes up, or America wakes up, if you went to jail for a protest, that will be something that a boss will say, I'm hiring you. You're great for standing up. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think you got to get out there. So I changed my mind. I'm just concerned about folks. And I got Michael Fanone. You know Michael, right? Michael.
Yeah,
Fanone
I'm actually,
texted me.
I'm doing his show Friday.
Yeah. So he just texted me saying, yes, get out there, ! By the way, Michael and I are going to do our weekly talk at 2:30 today.
Beautiful.
So is it 2 or 2:30? 2:30 today. So join us. We're going to talk tyranny in America. But I think you got to get out there. Folks, if you're listening to me, you got to get out there. You got to be willing to sacrifice something. There are more of us than there are of them.
Listen, there's a saying in the South where I'm from. It says you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And you got to be your own man and not a puppy on a string. Listen, I don't care who you voted for. I really just don't give a fuck anymore. I've never been the, you voted for Donald Trump, you're getting what you voted for. I've never been November. I haven't had that mindset, because my belief is, I don't care who fucked around. We're all finding out. I am open, like you just did right now on this live, Don. Right now on this live, you change your mind, which is human. I need people who may have voted for him, who may have bought a red hat, who may have been on the MAGA, train, to change their mind and recognize this is tyranny. This is absolutely tyranny. You're oppressing First Amendment rights. You're bringing the National Guard and the Marines into American towns. This is absolutely not America. This is not the country that any of us believed in, any of us found hope in. This is not the beacon of light that the world was looking for. This is tyranny. And this isn't political theater. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't because he's a Republican. I don't think he's a Republican anymore. I think he's a party of one. He's Donald Trump. He's like you said, an autocrat. He's a wannabe king. And so everybody has to do something. And I don't care who you voted for. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to fucking join the resistance, because the resistance starts now. I'm sorry, there was America 1 hour ago or 30 minutes ago, and there's America now. Because 30 minutes ago, when he openly said you cannot protest this parade without governmental oppression, we entered the official phase of overt tyranny. Get out. Do something.
Oh my God.
And listen, we have to stand with each other. If somebody's out there, Don, and they get, like you said, trampled by horses, they get arrested, they get beat down, then the rest of the community has to bail them out, has to fucking stand with them, has to doctor their wounds, has to assist their family in their absence. We as a community have a lot to do, or else things only get worse before they get better.
But do you have the exact quote of what he said, Jolly?
He said so the reporter asked him, I think I have it on video. Let me pull it up. Let me see right here.
Let's see. I'm good at
So once he come out, all right, here we go. And if there's any protest that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force. Yeah.
It's
That's tyranny.
Do you remember this is way far beyond him at the Trump rallies. Remember in 2016 saying, knock him out or hit their head or don't treat them kindly.
I remember.
Way beyond that. Ginger, Jolly, I agree with you. How can anyone who puts the big fucking giant American flag on their truck, right? Or but the Trump flag over it, or on their boat, they're flying the Trump flag above the American flag, or they have it in their house, or they talk about or for the Constitution, the guys who they put the Constitution in their coat pocket and they're always talking about.
That's the guys I'm talking about.
Yeah. So how can those guys say, oh, this is what he's doing is America? Those guys should be like, no, wait a minute, what? No, fuck no. But they're not saying anything. That's the guys.
And that's my
Those
point.
are the guys we need.
That's my point. Thank you. That's where I was saying 10 minutes ago, which was these are the guys who've been telling allow tyranny. We cannot allow tyranny. We cannot allow. I ask you, define tyranny. What of basic civil rights by the government is tyranny. And I don't care how much you don't like Joe Biden. I don't care how much you don't like Barack Obama. I just don't care. You physically will be incapable of showing me a time where any other president has done this. Has any other president has openly threatened Americans? It's not the first time either. I want to be clear. Before now, he threatened Americans. Now it's just open tyranny. It's the difference.
Let me say something to you that that you might. It's going to be a little bit controversial. Okay, you ready for this, John?
I'm in.
What's the whole purpose of the Second Amendment?
Well, the original purpose or the purpose now?
Well, the original purpose was that if your government, right?
The original purpose was so that the government could not use the military against the people, because the founding, the foundational people of the country did not believe in having a standing army. So in lieu of having a standing army, they wouldn't have a militia. But the only way you can have a militia was to have people who were regulated and documented and armed. But they were worried, what if the government takes away their arms? Then you don't have a militia. Then the government can be tyrannical. So in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, the rights of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. That was the original purpose of the Second Amendment.
So then where are the Second Amendment people on this?
Now you're on board where I was at 15 minutes ago, right?
But where? No, I get that. But where? We read the definition. I'm just saying.
And that's my point. I'm not.
So not that
that was my whole point.
I get it. Not that you're condoning violence.
Nope.
That you're suggesting violence. But where are the originalists, the constitutionalists on this? The Second Amendment folks.
That's my point. All I've heard, thank you. All I've heard for the last fucking, I don't know how many decades, is that the Constitution is founded on one concept, and there shall not be tyranny. Dude, I mean, listen, I'm going to do it right now. I haven't even done this. I'm going to do it right now live. I want to read the definition of tyranny. I don't even know what the fuck it is. The fucking textbook definition. But if if what Donald Trump just did ain't tyranny, then I'm a fucking dolphin.
Cruel and oppressive government or rule. That's what tyranny is.
Oppressive.
Or oppressive government or rule.
Yep.
You're right.
And what is oppression? It is unjustly inflicting hardship and constraint, especially on a minority or subordinate group. Subordinate group, he looks at us as subordinates. He's being oppressive. Guys, the First Amendment of the United States gives you the right to speak, assemble, protest, practice your religion. It gives us the right to do that. It gives you the freedom of press, SAPPR. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that fucking acronym, because you know Warren Sapp, the football player?
I do.
Warren Sapp, he told me, he said, Jolly, it's easy to remember the First Amendment. It's SAP plus R, Sapper. Anyway, speech, assembly, protest, press, and religion. Those are the 5 things the First Amendment gives you the right to. And what the President of the United States just said, and guys, this is not me and Don twisting his words. This is not me and Don just because we're both just leftist shills who are just, playing partisan politics. This is not hyperbole. I'll play it again if I need to. The man said any protesters that show up on Saturday will be met with heavy force. Guys, that's oppression of your First Amendment right. A president, here's what it's supposed to look like. You're welcome to protest Saturday. You're welcome to do that. All right? People have an opinion, but we're still going to proceed. We're still going to have our parade, but it's your right to protest. That tyranny looks like. How many times did we see Barack Obama get met with protesters? He said, hey, don't kick them out. Don't kick them out. Let them stay. Let them stay. Let their voices be heard. Happened multiple times.
Protesters, and he goes, no, look, I respect these young people or these folks for their right. And then he answers them in a smart way that you're like, Donald Trump doesn't have the intellect to do that.
Nope. Nor the lack of ego. His ego is. By the way, I want to be clear. Let's be clear. This is going to sound like I'm just trying to make fun of the guy. I'm not. I'm so serious what I'm about to say. Part of the reason that he is getting so huffy and puffy, and if you interrupt Saturday, I'm going to be at heavy force, is because this is his special birthday. This is his special day when everybody's going to get together and have a party for him, and all his little toys going to be in the street, and they're going to march for him. This is literally Playhouse with real people and real military equipment for a grown man-child. That's literally what it is. And he's the 9-year-old boy saying, nobody better interrupt my birthday party. I'll be so mad. That's what it is. We have a man-child, narcissistic, ego autocrat running our country.
But don't you think also when you're saying everyone needs to get out and protest, shouldn't they turn the television off and not give him one single rating?
It won't matter. Listen, I'm so glad you brought that up. Fucking thank you for bringing it up. Because one thing I've been hearing is, don't show up in protests because that's what they want.
No, I think
don't give
protest.
I know. I'm just not. They're looking for a reason for martial law. Don't give him ratings. Blah 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 blah. Guys, none of that shit matters. The thing that he wants the most is silence and compliance. He wants everybody who doesn't agree with him to ignore him so that him and all his friends can play dictator. So what I'm telling you is we have to keep our eyes on the prize. Whether you watch it on the media or not, it's going to make never. Pennies. These are pennies in the world. It don't matter to him whether he gets ratings or not. He's going to have his military parade. We're going to spend. I don't think so. Tell me how it matters.
The biggest ratings in the world. That matters.
He's going to say that either way. We could all turn the TV off. He's going to say it.
You're right. Jolly. I'm nervous about every time we.
If he was honest.
Go on. Sorry.
No, I'm saying if he was honest, here's where you and I and people like us often mess up. We forget that they don't play by the same rules that we play by. Mm-hmm. We play with moral integrity. We want to be truthful when we speak. We want to be honest in our assessment of ourselves and others. So if he was an honest person, I would agree with you. Hurt his, but it's not going to. He's going to tell you had the largest crowds and the biggest media, more people watch it than the whole world. He's going to say that regardless of what the fuck we do. So I'm not even saying I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it because I'm going to be there in person, because I'm going to go ahead and tell Donald Trump and all his sycophants this, fuck you, I'll see you Saturday. But no matter what we do, he's going to say that it was the biggest crowds and the best ratings and the greatest military parade in the world. And Yeah. Remember in 2017 when he went to the parade, he said he saw a fucking parade in France and it was so big, but that we can do it more grander. That was his word, more grander. We can do it more grander. That's what he wants.
Stay fired up. And you changed my mind. You changed my mind.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.